This is Donkerweb chapters 41 through 50, a summary by myself, Christian Lees. All rights again are reserved to Fanie Viljoen and the people depicted. I do not own the rights to anything that is in this video. Greg, Plunk, Ayla and Xander are all looking through this platform called Elsewhere, which this person on the dark web told them about, and they're looking for traces of the baker through all these cryptic posts. They stumble upon a website that brings an odd story on screen that vividly describes injecting code into a character named Winston Smith's brain, this mixing imagery drawn from George Orwell's 1984. Ayla identifies this as fan fiction, suggesting it holds deeper meanings, and Greg proposes that these themes of torture may align with the horrors of Project Coast and the lethal potential of the flu virus. I also learned that Gregor has a huge crush on Ayla, but obviously that's a no-no because that's Xander's girl. Greg is inspired to explore coded messages hidden in the text fonts, leading towards a tool called font code. Investigation hits a standstill as they need a photo to use font code, and well, Greg's phone has been destroyed, so Greg and Xander have to work together to spend the whole day doing this on Xander's phone. Through this, they find a hidden onion URL, and this leads them to a page advertising the manufacture of banned substances and illegal activities. They reach out to this person advertising this and hoping that it's to lure out the baker, after revealing their need for a specially made chemical product. They wait anxiously for a response. This shocking response comes late in the day when a message which acknowledges Greg and Xander by name means the person behind the anonymous figure not only knows who they are, but also understands this coded language. Xander just takes a walk out briefly to clear his head. He doesn't ever come back with a new determination. They start trying to find ways to figure out who this guy is, and they're looking at Bitcoin, bugs, malware, anything that can help them, but these attempts all lead to dead ends. However, Greg decides, okay, what if we send a cat video to the baker as bait? And when he downloads the video, there'll be a special codec hidden on the service web, and this will reveal the baker's hidden identity when he attempts to download it. They send this video to the baker, and the next morning, the baker downloads this video, obviously, and the baker's IP address is revealed that he is in Florence. However, Greg and Plunk aren't able to proceed due to the lack of visas to travel within Europe. So they now have to contend with the obstacle of obtaining a Schengen visa to travel to Florence, learning that they would need to return to South Africa to process applications, and the group feels momentarily defeated. But Xander says, hold on, we can buy passports on the dark web, and I can get you a Dutch or Belgian passport. There's a bit of hesitation, but they consent, and Xander buys the authentic European passports with Bitcoin, expected delivery within 10 days. In the meantime, they order accommodation. Greg and Xander have a DMC about this concept of technium. Technium is portrayed as both a marvel and a danger, capable of both simplifying and complicating human lives, indicating the reality of the predicament in the dark web. Greg also contemplates these profound implications. He's reminded of the disturbing 1984 fan fiction on Elsewhere, which symbolizes the technium. As they're waiting for these passports, they decide to go and visit the rest of Istanbul. They go to the Grand Bazaar, Hagia Sophia, Blue Mosque, Topkapi Palace, and sample some local cuisine. During one of these strolls, Greg and Plunk discuss love and friendship, and Plunk describes love as a promise of becoming a universe when there was someone. This leads Greg to acknowledge Plunk as a brother figure.
Cutest little thing ever.
The tensions rise when Greg's gaze on Ayla is confronted by Plunk, who's like, yo bro, that's Xander's girl, what are you doing? Absolutely not. This leads Greg to thinking if he'll ever find love, and will he ever have this universe within someone? Passports arrive in a white envelope, looking surprisingly real. Plunk made an oopsie. So they're about to leave for Florence in a day, and Plunk runs inside and he's like, oh guys, I've royally effed up. Xander is royally pissed because he's now endangered them due to irresponsible actions, and this triggers a very intense argument. Plunk confesses that he phoned his girlfriend and befriended a local Camden, and he borrowed Camden's phone to phone Lisa, and then somehow these baker people found him through Camden. Now they know where they are. Xander just loses control. The pursuers knock on the door, indicating that they have traced their location, and they work together to escape the accommodation, and they basically jump off the building onto a soft landing. The group decides that they must leave the country, causing a division as Xander's yo bro, Plunk can't come with us because he's already jeopardized us enough. Greg must make a decision if he's going to stay with Xander or if he's going to choose Plunk, and he chooses Xander and Ayla. This will never not upset me. The chapter concludes with Greg looking back in regret and worry, only to find that Plunk has disappeared. Greg deserves nothing in this world. Plunk deserves everything. That's just my own little comment, but besides the point. Greg grapples with this realization that he's now just left Plunk behind and compares himself to his dad, who once chose John over him during a family crisis. So they arrive in Florence, and throughout the flight, he can't help but wish for Plunk to just make it there, you know? Upon reaching Florence, they find a hotel and check in a day earlier than planned. They manage to successfully infiltrate the baker's computer system with a backdoor created by a Trojan horse. Greg, Ayla, and Xander are dining in a restaurant near the Duomo in Florence while contemplating their ongoing search for the baker. On their way home, they move past Florence's baptismal chapel, striking for its stunning bronze doors known as the Gates of Paradise. They return to their hotel after the meal, and Greg sees a cross shadow reflecting on a window inside the Duomo. Seeing this cross prompts Greg to do a little silent prayer for Plunk, hoping that he is safe, which is the least he can do after he abandoned him. He discovers through a hidden document in Florence the baker's address. This decision prompts a thrilling adventure through the streets, leading Greg to an apartment block. This is where he sees a man and the woman at the residence that are both staring at him, implying that they recognize him. Greg, who's a little bit shaken, he runs back to the hotel room and he eventually falls asleep. The next morning, Greg decides he's going to keep this a secret. He's not going to tell Xander and Ayla that he just went to the baker's house. Greg and Xander get into a heated argument about Plunk, and Greg goes on a visit of the city and he stumbles upon the Michelangelo statue David, which represents striving for perfection in the face of massive challenges, inspiring Greg to resolve his issues with Xander. At the hotel, Greg calls down. He's like, okay, so I basically went to the baker's house yesterday. I just forgot to tell you guys. And it's what? We have to go. So they all go there, and they notice that the people living there have already left. They suddenly have a feeling that they're being followed by this black car, and they decide to proper run. They dart towards a narrow street that is inaccessible to cars. As they lose the car, whatever, Greg glances over his shoulder and surprised to see someone who resembles Dirk in the front seat. Greg tells the others over pizza that he thinks that the guy who was in the black car was Dirk. They think, okay, wait, Dirk could be the baker. And they talk about Dirk's potential involvement in his father's past. Greg theories that Dirk's police background, possible military connections, and extensive network might connect him to the baker. Trio also contemplates Dirk's possible ties to Project Coast. Xander receives a package containing a teddy bear, which has a 9mm pistol, which he purchased on the dark web, and intensifies concerns within the group as he dramatically raises the gun. That was chapters 41 through 50. Toodaloo.